Buckle up, buttercups, because boy, have I got a show for you. Oh Lord, the media is mediaing. It's doing that media thing. It's berserk. I'm going to talk about it. And who needs FEMA when you have a natural disaster? Nobody needs FEMA. I mean, I guess that's what Donald Trump is saying. Who needs FEMA? Well, it turns out when you get hit with tornadoes or a hurricane or any kind of storm, you might need FEMA. Right? You might need FEMA. So much is happening, Maureen Marfell. Thank you. Hi, everybody. The media is so mid, SS Boxer. You are completely right. Hello from Florida. Hi, Florida. Good to see you guys. I mean, the media is just mediating right now. It is crazy. Hi, Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here as well, Angela. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi from somewhere, I don't know, it was Laguna Beach, somewhere in California. Find that for me, Andy. Someone said hello from California. And so the folks here, North Carolina, they may need it. Hi from Laguna Beach, California. Thank you. Everybody needs FEMA. That was the whole point of FEMA. That's the whole point of a lot of these agencies in the United States. That was the whole point, is to help people, what? In need. To help the folks who are in need. But apparently, the Trump folks don't think so. So my goodness, we have a lot to talk about. FEMA is in crisis. Kristi Noem, a shit show on Capitol Hill. Trump's big, beautiful bill. It may as well be called a big bomb because it is bombing. Negotiations imploding. And we're going to talk a bit about, I know you guys are going to hate this, but we're going to talk a little bit, just a little bit, because the person who's on wants to talk about it. I'm kind of over it, but I want to hear from you guys. You guys tell me what you think, and that is about this bombshell, Jake Tapper's book. I don't know if it's a bombshell. Is it a bombshell? I don't think it's a bombshell, by the way. I really don't. Fortunately, I'm joined by the perfect co-pilot for all this, New York Times best-selling author, the host of the Clay Kane Show on Sirius XM Urban View, good friend of the Lemon Nation, and a friend of mine. Hello, Clay Kane.
What's up, Lemon Heads? I'm back again.
You're up? Back. How are you doing, handsome? What's going on? You are a handsome man. That's why I said do not have him up on the screen when we start the show, because he's way better looking than I am.
I'm trying to keep up with you. I'm scratching and surviving out here on these streets, like good times, scratching and surviving. I already got done singing.
Are you hanging in a chow line?
Hanging in a chow line, absolutely. Just try to get by. You know.
Ain't we lucky we got him?
I can't sing, but good. The riff, you know how it is.
You can't sing, Clay? You have like no singing voice at all?
I could do a little karaoke with a few drinks in my system. I could, squeak out a couple of things. Some Raspberry Beret by Prince, maybe. That's about all I got.
Oh. What is it? Working to
my boss was Mr. McGee. My boss was Mr. McGee.
5 and dime. My boss was Mr. McGee.
Yeah. Classic.
Sorry. She walked in through the outdoor. She wore a Raspberry Beret.
Well, that was supposed to be on the Purple Rain album, by the way. Little music trivia, but they held it. They held it for Around the World in a Day. Anyway.
Around the World in a Day.
He's good.
I'm telling you, I know this stuff, but it all has to come back to me though, Clay, because it's been such a long time. The weird thing is that I don't drive that much. When I used to drive back in the day, you would drive and you listen to either your cassette or your CD.
Yeah.
So you could play these songs over and over. Don, don't be singing the whole show. I'm not Miss Cat. I'm not singing the whole show. There are certain guests that I feel comfortable enough to sing with, and one of those is Clay Kane. So, Clay, thank you so much for joining us. So, Clay, can we start with? I know you want to talk about Jake Tapper. You want to talk about this book. So I will let you do that. But let's start with the tornado, right? And FEMA.
Yeah.
I want you to hear what's going on. These folks who have been involved in the tornado. I was very close in Maryland this weekend, and my viewers got to see it live, and they were all encouraging me to go to an interior space. So, and I didn't because I should have. My mom was really mad at me. But here, this is what's happening, and we're going to talk about FEMA. Here it is.
Internal review warning the Federal Emergency Management Agency is not prepared for hurricane season, which starts June 1st.
Here is the main takeaway, John. Quote, as FEMA transforms into a smaller footprint, the intent for this hurricane season is not well understood. Thus, FEMA is not ready. In other words, amid staffing cuts and shortages, plus directives by this administration to further downside for disaster relief to be pushed away from the federal government and to the states. Not only do FEMA employees believe that they are not prepared for hurricane season, they don't even know what their role is, what their job will be. Other slides in this PowerPoint presentation pointed to problems with morale as well as interagency coordination. One top FEMA official told me today they've been afraid to speak out, but now feel like they need to share what is going on inside the organization that is illegal. Another FEMA staff member put it to me this way. I want to read from my notes. Quote, my impression of our readiness is that it is a physical impossibility for FEMA to be able to support disasters with even a similar efficiency to last year. Hundreds of years of cumulative learned experience and expertise have been lost. And John, we know that hundreds of FEMA employees have both been fired and taken those voluntary buyouts afforded by this administration. Today, the acting administrator at FEMA held a 30-minute town hall where he was asked, are we prepared for hurricane season? He said, give me a few weeks to figure that out. He doesn't have a few weeks. Yeah. It starts June 1st.
Thank you very much. He doesn't have a few weeks. I want to, Clay, as we're talking about this, Andy, just play some of the damage here. What do you mean, give me a few weeks to figure that out? Hurricane season is upon us. And tornado season obviously is upon us. So, look, this happened here. It also happened to the FAA. They are still trying to blame Biden, but this is the Trump administration cutting all of these jobs. And now look at what you have. And by the way, this is conservative land. This is MAGA land. What say you, Clay Kane?
First of all, my heart goes out to everybody impacted by this. But here's my question. You have Josh Hawley now, begging and crying and pleading and saying, hey, we need FEMA on the ground now. We need help now. But are you going to vote differently? These blood red states that support Trump, the same guy who was throwing paper towels at folks who were impacted by Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. Okay, maybe you don't care about Puerto Rico for some reason, but now that it's impacted you, are you going to vote any differently? Are you going to change your mind? Or are you going to stay in this cult? This is a FEMA disaster. It's a MAGA disaster. This is MAGA. There's no, of course, you can't blame them for the actual disaster, but the response to it, it's on his watch. It reminds me of the pandemic response team. Remember that? Trump gutted the pandemic response team. Months later, COVID hits. This man is destroying the country like he destroyed Atlantic City, New Jersey. Are you going to vote differently? Are you going to reward bad behavior? That's what I want to know. It makes no sense to me. In North Carolina, when they had that hurricane, Biden had folks on the ground immediately doing something, helping people. This man
Clay, and they even criticized him for that, remember?
They did.
And do you remember the governor and every official of every state in town got up and said, it was the conservative media saying, and conservative politicians, Biden isn't doing anything, blah, 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 blah. And from mayor to governor stood up there and said what? Joe Biden gave us, he was there immediately. And these were red state governors and red state mayors saying that. And now look at this shit.
Look at it. It's a mess. It's terrible. I mean, if Biden did this would be a chapter in Jake Tapper's book, Cognitive Decline. Look what happened in the Midwest. He was so off his rocker, he couldn't even get FEMA down. I mean, Trump does things time and time again. I mean, if this is somebody who's alert, who's mentally stable, I'd rather have quote unquote decline.
Well, I was going to say, and if Joe Biden, certainly if he was in decline, by the way, we're all in decline.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what
I just turned 48, brother. I just turned 48. So I hear you.
I'm just saying. So, but after birth.
Right.
I'm just saying, that's kind of what happens to us all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would rather, as you say, the person in decline who can handle these situations, they at least have the right people around them to handle these situations, and who actually believes in the Federal Emergency Management Agency because it helps Americans when they have to deal, unfortunately, with disasters like this.
Yeah. And do you recall when Trump first got into office, he alleged that the Biden administration was funneling funds via FEMA to undocumented immigrants?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? There was something up with conservatives, even before Trumpism, when it comes to natural disasters. Remember when Chris Christie, New Jersey governor, I'm not a fan of his, but because he hugged Obama during, I think it was Sandy Hook, people turned on him.
Did he hug? No, I think he just shook his hand.
Oh, was it a shake or was it a pat on the back? I don't know.
It was a handshake, but
we'll
check it out.
Like, you realize natural disasters, it's the great equalizer. And something is up when these happen, and Republicans feel like I guess they don't want to help anybody. It's some kind of attack. It's just terrible. And I want Kentucky. What are you going to do? You got how are you going to change this up? Are you going to keep on? They talk about the Democratic plantation. Well, there's an entire Republican cult. It's voting for the same people who keep on harming you, as you don't have good minimum wage, as you don't have good dental care, as you have a big, stupid bill that wants to cut your Medicare, Medicaid, whatever the case may be. My heart goes out to people who are impacted by this. I just want to see a different change politically.
Yeah, boy, it's crazy. We have a young lady actually who is speaking about this. I think we have a report from some folks who are on the ground who are dealing with this. Let's play it.
That's all that's left of Tara Hollyfield's home. She realized the storm was coming towards her home. She rushed to get her son, but the storm hit first.
It flew me all up in the air, and when I landed, I stood immediately up and I went to go look for him.
She found her baby in a pile of debris.
The first thing I remember is when I got down, I really thought my son was dead. He's not even 2 years old yet.
After some stitches, she's hugging him tight. Things can be replaced.
All of my neighbors that were around me are gone.
Her family can't.
It's tough. But I'm just thankful to be alive. It's a miracle to God that we're both alive, really.
And it's a miracle to God. And if they get the help that they need soon, that'll be a miracle to God too, because this administration, and I'm not sure if she voted for it, but I'm sure someone she knows, I'm sure someone close to her voted for Donald Trump, the person who will be the cause of them not getting the help that they need.
Yeah, for all the evangelicals who stood behind Donald Trump with his 5 children by 3 different women and porn stars, and found liable of sexual assault on a civilian court, I hope you prayed up. I hope you prayed up for these folks who are being hurt. I hope your prayers are big and real, and praying to your Jesus, because he's the evangelical president. He gets these large shares of evangelicals. I thought, you want to be Christ-like, you care for the poor, you care for the needy. Hell, plan in advance a little bit. All that thing about your God and all. I mean, wow. Where is it now? Where is it in policy? Where is it in humanity? Hell, I mean, some of these areas, these rural areas, you've heard of this, Dom. Rural hospitals being shut down. I mean, where are you going to go if your child is harmed or you're hurt? I mean, there is a national disaster, a national healthcare disaster across this country. Yet the people who want to continue the disaster, you put them back in power. So now how is Trump going to be held accountable? Are you in these red states? I mean, there's been some outrage at town halls. I get it. But this big, stupid bill that's coming, this big, shitty bill that's coming, it's going to make your life even worse for your children, for your family, for your grandpa, your grandma, for your hillbilly elegy. Where has JD Vance been, by the way? I haven't seen him in a minute.
We saw him. We saw him yesterday on the airplane, I guess Air Force Two or whatever they call it, saying, "Oh, I feel bad for Joe Biden," and then saying, "But this just leads us to know that he was incapacitated." It's like, oh my God, he couldn't even, give the proper condolences. That's where JD Vance is JD Vancing. That's what he's doing. Yeah. And but there are folks who are saying, "Look, do you guys feel that way? Let me know in the chat." Folks are saying thoughts and prayers, and you know what that means? I don't know. I don't. I'm not going to take glee in any horrible thing that happened, any tragedy, but a lot of these folks did vote for that. This is what you voted for. And this is what you talked about. You're right. You said that conservatives or Republicans have an issue when it comes to tragedies like they did with Chris Christie. It wasn't a hug. I was right. This was a handshake.
Oh, it was just a hand and a pat. It was the pat on the shoulder.
It was that pat on the shoulder and the handshake and the thank you. And they were pissed off that he came and actually. And this was during Sandy, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Hurricane Sandy. I was in New Jersey at the time, and Obama was on the ground talking to a Republican governor. Can you imagine Trump on the ground? I don't know, talking to Maryland Governor Westmore and having that kind of dialogue and being respectful. Can you imagine? No.
Yeah.
Definitely couldn't talk to Kathy Hochul in New York.
Yeah.
He's trying to put in his own, I thought it was states' rights, trying to gut certain policies over there in New York. I mean, no, he can't do that.
He's trying to get rid of congestion pricing and has nothing to do with him. He doesn't even live here anymore.
I thought it was states' rights.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I guess I'm wrong.
Shouldn't he send it back to the states like they like to do everything else they try to get rid of? This is a St. Louis mayor talking about FEMA and not good.
For St. Louis, cities across the nation, when experiencing disasters such as this is what the federal government is for. We need your help. We need the help of the broader community. We have set up a fund to help bring in some funding right off the bat, just to bridge that gap. But we need federal assistance. There is
FEMA
no way.
there? Is FEMA on the ground yet?
FEMA has not been on the ground. We do not have confirmed assistance from FEMA at this point. I do.
FEMA is not on the ground. And by the way, there's a GOP senator begging for FEMA help. Let's put that up, Andy, so that we can get Clay to respond to it. But a GOP senator begs for FEMA help. I guess, did we not get that one in? We don't have it? Don't got it?
That was Josh Hawley, right? Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yes, Josh Hawley. GOP senator begs for disaster aid as FEMA snubs another red state. Okay, Josh Hawley. Isn't he a big MAGA Trump supporter?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
As this is happening and FEMA's not on the ground, horrible disaster, people are being impacted. The reason why people are suffering in this moment, is it because of DEI? Is it because of Haitian immigrants eating cats and dogs? Is it because of transgender people in sports? Is it because of Black history being taught? Oh, it's not. It's not because of any of that. It's not because of any of those things that Trump did as Southern Strategy 2.0 bullshit to blame everything on. It's because of him. It's because of him. I don't see any trans person running around taking food out of your mouth as a tornado hits, as Josh Hawley is begging. See, they've been doing this for a long time. That they bait you with bigotry. They hope to push your bigotry buttons so you won't show up for the woke DEI vice president. I'm being sarcastic here. But I want to point out all those things that they decided to put fear in their base, inject all that fear. Now look at this. I'm not saying anybody deserves it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just pointing out those were his talking points. He didn't talk about the economy. He didn't talk about healthcare. He talked about immigrants, trans folks, DEI, and they, them. Is it they, them that doesn't, why you don't have FEMA on the ground? No, it's him. It was always him. It was never they, them.
It's because they're giving all the money to the illegals and the trans. He'll make up something that has, and they will believe it. They will yell these talking points to the top of their lungs, and somehow the conservative media, Fox News, will pick up on it and pretend that these funds are being taken away because what? Because it's the trans people that they're giving the money to, or it is illegal aliens. And it's crazy. It's really just nuts. By the way, I was at the stock market today. Man, it was sad. It's a sad place. It's basically a tourist thing. I don't know. Does it have anything to do with tariffs? I don't know. But I feel like the wind has been taken out of the stock market. And I think the wind is being taken out of some of these Trump supporters. They're finally effing around and finding out. But the cognitive dissonance, because I'm sure they're going to say it's okay. He's doing better than Joe Biden, which the actual numbers, the math shows they're not. And speaking of numbers, we're going to get some folks to at least partake in what our sponsors are promoting on this program. So Clay Kane, stand by, because a word from our sponsors right now. ZBiotics. Support for today's program comes from ZBiotics. My personal experience with ZBiotics, by the way, I've done it. It works. I went out one evening, and before I had my first drink, I took my ZBiotic. Tim took his as well. We went to a wine tasting thing. We woke up feeling good. It was great. Support comes from ZBiotics, and I have to tell you about this game-changing product I use before a night out with drinks. It's called Pre-Alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is a buildup of this product, not dehydration, that is to blame for rough days after drinking. So pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this product down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best the next day. So you should try it. So I told you I first gave it a try, went to a wine tasting thing, woke up the next morning feeling fine like sunshine. So go to zbiotics.com, zbiotics, that's the letter Z, last one in the alphabet, biotics.com/lemon to learn more and get 15% off of your first order when you use lemon at checkout. So ZBiotics is backed with 100% money back guarantee. So if you're satisfied or unsatisfied for any reason, they're going to refund you all of your money. No questions asked. What do you have to lose, as they say? So remember to head to zbiotics.com/lemon and use the code lemon at checkout for 15% off. Also, support for this program comes from none other than Shopify. As you know, the origins of this show that we're on now, they were just a dream for a while. I labored over this for almost a year. What should I do? Should I do this, a streaming show? That dream turned into this. It turned into a business. You're listening to my dream come true right now. Starting your own business, I know, is a dream lots of folks share, but too many of us let it remain just a dream. So don't hold back. Don't hold yourself back. What if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? You can turn those dreams into why nots with Spotify by your side. I love that sound. With Spotify by your side. So here's what you do. Turn those dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon. Shopify.com/lemon. And remember, we're working on our merch. I know you guys are tired of me saying that, but we really are. And so we're going to start our e-commerce store with the help of Shopify on a Shopify site soon. So stand by. So turn your dreams into with Shopify. Thank you very much. Okay. Can we talk about what's happening in Washington, D.C., Mr. Clay Kane?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about this big bamboozle of a bill. That's what I call it.
That's good. I like that.
It is. So let's put up with what the CNBC is saying here. Excuse me. Pardon me. CNBC is saying right here. Trump has convinced to fail. Wait a minute. No. Trump has convinced the SALT lawmakers, has not convinced the SALT lawmakers to go on his side and to sign this bill. And he's not happy about it. Trump fails to convince SALT caucus to back the tax bill. President Trump failed to sway key Republicans from blue states to drop opposition to a major tax bill over a cap on deductions for state and local taxes. This big, beautiful bill seems to be tanking. The consensus is, though, Clay, is that because this will be the only accomplishment of the Trump administration, the only actual legislation that they will pass or could pass, that Republicans will relent and fall in line. What do you think of this?
I agree. It reminds me of his first term, where the only big legislative win he had was the horrible tax bill. And that tax bill, it put the SALT deductions, it put a cap on the deductions at $10,000. I have never paid more money in taxes my entire life with Trump's tax bill. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. And yesterday was Malcolm X's birthday. So to use your term bamboozled, I'll say you've been had. You've been bamboozled. You've been run amok. That's what it is. And it's a big shitty bill. It's a big mess. And what it is also a big destructive bill. I mean, the way they want to attack Medicaid, it's just tear apart things, gut social safety nets, and then a tax break for the rich. But he did tell you he was going to do this. This was one thing that he did say, that they had to continue his tax bill from 2017. So it doesn't shock me at all.
Donald Trump, when you don't agree with him, right? He attacks.
Yes.
He goes on the attack. And he has gone on the attack for Mike Lawler. Mike Lawler, who is a New York politician, a New York, congressman in a swing district or even a blue district. And Donald Trump had a few choice words for Mike Lawler. And then Mike Lawler, quite frankly, had a few choice words for Donald Trump. Watch this.
President reportedly said to you with regard to this, I know your district better than you do. If you lose because of SALT, you were going to lose anyway. What do you say to those 2 points?
Well, respectfully to the president, I've won 3 times in 2-to-1 Democratic districts because I know what the issues are impacting my district.
Did he say that to you, Congressman? Is that an accurate quote?
It is. And here's the truth. I'm one of only 3 Republicans that have won in a district that Kamala Harris won. So the fact is, I know my district very well, and there's a reason why I've been successful. I respect the president. I know how important it is to pass this bill. Allowing the tax cuts to expire would be catastrophic. It would be the single largest tax increase in American history. But I'm not going to sacrifice my constituents and throw them under the bus in a bad faith negotiation, which is what this has been by leadership and Jason Smith.
Okay, look on the screen. I said this earlier when I heard this soundbite, that Donald Trump will do, and the MAGA folks will do everything within their power to get rid of Mike Lawler.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I really don't have much sympathy for him. I mean, he does go on cable news and defend Trump a lot.
I have no sympathy at all for him. I'm just saying they're going to get rid of him.
They're going to get rid of him because you have to stand in line, so they'll pull a Liz Cheney on him or whatever the case may be. I want to remind people that Mike Lawler, also famously went in quote unquote blackface as Michael Jackson years ago. Just want to remind people of that little Mike Lawler history. But yeah, I mean, Lawler, I'm saying his name wrong. Forgive me. But yeah, so they're going to get rid of him. They want to push him out. He doesn't stand in line. And what I will say about Republicans is that if you don't do what they say, they'll kick your ass out. They will kick you out. Democrats, try and work with you, compromise here or there. Hell, you got freaking Cory Booker voting to confirm Jared Kushner's daddy. I mean,
what is going on with that? Can we talk? Okay, go on. So I'm going to table that for now.
That's the big difference of Democrats. And I'm not saying we should all be like them. I'm not saying that. I'm just pointing out when someone like Mike Lawler doesn't do what they want you to do, they will primary you, they will kick you out, and you'll learn your lesson. So it's fascinating. But I'm not going to cry any tears if he's out. Hey, maybe some powerful Democrats should do the actual work in his area, which is kind of a swing area, to aggressively primary him and see if you can get him out versus Trump doing the work. Maybe we can do the work. I don't know. Yeah,
I want to talk just to tell folks, because some people may not realize it. It's a state and local tax. That's what the SALT is.
Yeah.
It's a state and local tax deduction, as it is known, enables federal income tax filers to deduct either their state and local income taxes or their state and local general sales taxes. In addition, they are also allowed to deduct their property taxes, assuming their income or sales taxes don't put them over the cap. The tax break, however, may only be taken by those who itemize deductions on their federal returns, which only a minority of filers do. But folks who live in big cities like me, I don't know. I don't even know where you live, Clay. I thought, are you in New York City? No.
I have a residency in North Jersey, and the
Okay.
property tax in North Jersey is insane.
Okay, so you know what I mean.
Exactly.
We look forward to that. Like, we get taxed out the wazoo here in New York.
And we're paying for other states, mind you. We're paying for other states.
Yes. So,
you know, these woke blue states, they're actually helping out Mississippi and Louisiana and Arkansas. Yeah. We're paying for these states. So, and that cap at 10,000 really, really hurts average working class people, or even the working poor in New Jersey, in New York, and so on. So I would hope they could adjust that. But will it help the rich? That's their big, beautiful question.
Well, the thing is also, I mean, look, you can say he's fighting for his constituents or whatever, but this was his last stand. What about the no due process, sending people to gulags? You know, what about that? What about no, due process? That's not a last stand.
Yeah.
But state and local taxes, that is his last stand.
Right. Well, again, not caring till it impacts you. Not caring until, you know, your constituents might say, oh, wait a minute, what about my pocket? What about my money? Versus a respect for the Constitution. I don't know, a little bit of respect for that. The founding fathers, what the framers wrote, a little bit of respect for that. So no, it isn't there. It isn't there. So we'll see. He might get kicked out. I mean, a lot of people, you know, Liz Cheney, and rest in peace, Mia Love as well. A lot of people, when they push back against their dear leader, they learned you aren't allowed to do that. You know, maybe that's why Marco Rubio bowed down. Oh my God. I'm throwing out the
Marco Rubio looks so depressed.
Yeah.
Did you ever see him? Like, you be me or you, and you're interviewing Marco Rubio. Just ask me a question.
Marco Rubio, why have you once again flip-flopped on Trump? Who are you in 2016?
Well, my lips are moving and I'm saying all the right things, but if you look at the expression on my face, it looks like I have lost my best friend, and that someone kicked my dog and my cat is missing, because I'm really just going through the motions, because I actually don't believe in this, but I've sold my soul.
How much money did you get for your soul? How much money?
Not nearly enough, but look, I'm here now and I've made this decision, so I've got to just stick with it, and I have to just say all the things. That's how I feel.
Well, you got a bigger check than Tim Scott. Good for you.
Well, I'm not black, so that's how he sounds.
Yeah,
that's what he looks like. Am I wrong?
You're right. You're right.
He sounds so depressed. It's kind of crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
Speaking of madness, and you also mentioned Cory Booker. What is Cory? Cory.
I'm a registered voter in New Jersey, and to see Cory Booker, who also, all the Democrats did, voted to confirm Marco Rubio, to see him vote to confirm Charles Kushner, what is it, the French ambassador, whatever it is. Let me tell you something. At this point, no Democrat should be voting to confirm any of Trump's appointments. I don't care if it's the freaking rat czar. No, none of them should be voting to confirm this. Andy Kim in New Jersey voted to confirm Kristi Noem. Like, this is ridiculous. You know exactly who this administration is. And of course, we all gave a round of applause for Senator Cory Booker doing the 25-hour filibuster and breaking Strom Thurmond's record. But we have to look at your record, and what's the point of this? He was the only Democrat. It's not like he was the tiebreaker. He could have easily just not voted to confirm Jared Kushner's daddy and kept it moving. And I guess they're friends.
Yeah, this is Jared Kushner's daddy, and Jared and Josh Kushner's dad. And there was some illegal stuff that happened with him back in the day. Didn't he serve some time or something?
I think it was 2 years, then Trump pardoned him in 2020 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's facing backlash. Cory Booker is for voting to confirm him as the ambassador to France. Okay. Anyways, I don't know how much of effect it has on our lives, but here, okay. Speaking of, you wanted to talk about Jake, and here's the thing. In all fairness, I know Jake. Jake and I used to be a lot closer, but I'm not at CNN anymore, right? I should say I would communicate with him more, because we work together. And fine fine journalist. But man, I gotta say, Jake, I don't know what's up. I don't know what you're doing right now. I really don't get it. What you wanted to talk about this, so you have the floor. Go ahead.
I think it's disgusting. I mean, I was saying this before. I don't like these autopsy books after the president is, once they're in office or they left office. When Bob Woodward did it, I said, why are you sitting on this information if you care about the Republic and waiting for the book to be released? Now, I know, to be fair, Jake Tapper, I guess these folks didn't talk to him until after the election. But even the folks that you talked to anonymously, why did you, whatever Democrats out there who babbled, why did you sit on this information? Joe Biden is no longer in office. It doesn't matter anymore. And according to all the data, Joe Biden did a good job. According to the data, the Wall Street Journal, a publication that's very conservative, passed on a good economy to Donald Trump. We're talking about the bipartisan infrastructure bill. We're talking about the PAC Act, the Save Action Plan, student loan forgiveness. I mean, the American Rescue Plan. So like I was saying before, if Biden was falling apart with all this decline, he still did a damn good job. And so for Jake Tapper to release this book, now you hear that President Joe Biden has prostate cancer. I mean, it's just the worst timing. It's the worst timing. I think it's disrespectful and it's unfortunate. And there's footage, I believe you played it earlier, of Jake Tapper defending, appearing to be complicit in this grand lie. If that really what it was, it's so freakish right now, considering that we are in a time where not only our democracy is at risk, but it's our complete humanity. And I don't understand what the end game is. How does your book, Original Sin, how does it contribute? How does it help? How does it move the needle? It does nothing. It feels MAGA light.
Yeah. It feels, I don't know if it even feels MAGA light. It feels MAGA to me, because I don't look, the book and the conservative response to it. And, perhaps if you felt that way, I think maybe a better way is that you guys, made so much noise about Hillary Clinton having some sort of brain thing when that wasn't the case, right? Remember, they were like,
yes,
look how she's doing this and something is wrong with her. And nobody apologizes for that. I mean, those folks are not journalists. And look, there are a couple of things here. I don't even know if I want to play it. Do you guys want to see any of this stuff? Because I was surprised that Jake actually went on to Megyn Kelly's show. And just Megyn Kelly, of all people, like lecturing Jake Tapper or any journalist on not asking the right questions or not doing their job. Remember, this is the woman who Donald Trump said had, first of all, called her
blood coming out of her.
But what he said something about her at the debate when she said something about Rosie O'Donnell, and he was not, kind. And then blood coming out of her wherever, that was on my show. And so, I hate to even play her on this thing because I know what a right-wing troll she is. Not even I don't know if it's a right-wing troll. She's just a troll grifter. And anyway, Jake is apologizing for. Did you see this?
I did not see this.
Okay, well, let's play it. I'm gonna let you guys see it. I'm gonna break my rule and I'm gonna play it. Here's Jake on Megyn Kelly.
What I know now, obviously, I feel tremendous humility about my coverage, that Laura Trump interview, for example, et cetera. She saw something that I did not see at the time, 100%. And I own that. I did ask Joe Biden to be transparent about his health records in an interview in 2020. I did ask him about the fact that voters
but then he wasn't.
Thought that he was not transparent at all. No.
He promised you that he would be transparent about his health records, and then he wasn't. And when you sat with him again,
at all.
including 1 month after the Jackie Walorski thing, you didn't ask him about it. You didn't follow up on the fact that he was falling up the stairs, that he was losing his train of thought regularly, that he was slurring, that he was incomprehensible, that he was getting lost on the White House lawn. You sat right across from him and you asked none of that, notwithstanding the fact that he had promised you he would be fully transparent about his health issues.
That's true, But I did ask him about his age and the fact that the American people had concluded that even though he said whenever anybody brought up the subject of his age, watch me. And I said,
Yes.
they're watching you and they are concerned
You
that you
did.
were too old for this
But
job.
you know as well as I do that there's a way of, you can say, hey, there's this poll on your age, or you could say, you just forgot that Jackie Walorski was dead. You asked where she was moments after watching a videotape tribute to her. You lowered the flags at the White House after she died. This happened 13 days before you sat with him. There is a way of pressing a man like that on the actual infirmities to bring it home to him and to the audience, and you didn't do it.
That's correct. I didn't. And like I said, I feel humility about my coverage. I mean, it's not like I was asking him his favorite movie or his favorite color. We were talking about Putin. We were talking about other issues of national importance. But yeah, I mean, of course, I've said I look back at my coverage with humility, and I wish I did cover the issues of age and acuity, but I wish I had covered them.
I need an exorcism after hearing Megyn Kelly's voice. The power of Christ compels you. That's
the power of Christ compels you. I can't. So I'm sorry, viewers. I'm so sorry, but I just wanted to make the point. He looks so bad in that. And he
looks like he has some decline. He looks, Jake looks stressed.
And Megyn Kelly, of all people, like lecturing someone about journalism, like,
wait a minute. We all knew Joe Biden was old.
Thank you.
We all knew Joe Biden was slower. I'm confused. Did people think Joe Biden was 45? Like, I mean, we all knew Joe Biden was older. He was elected as older. I mean, I don't even understand what the big controversy. Are they trying to say he was a vegetable the whole time he was in office? I mean, I know he's slower. We know he stutters. What's the groundbreaking info? And I'm not going to read original bullshit, whatever it's called, but what's the smoking gun? Does Jake Tapper give him an actual illness? Does one of the and Alex, what's the dude's name? Alex Thompson. Let's throw him in there too. Do they actually diagnose the brother? I want to know. I mean, if you're just saying he's slower and old, but this is not groundbreaking information. But congrats, you'll sell some books.
Yeah. Stand by. We have more to talk about as it relates to this issue. We're going to hear from other folks as well on this. Okay. So Clay, I want you to stand by because a word from our sponsors right now. Support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from 120 Life. You guys know I got a new package too because we were all out. We've been using it so much. 120 Life. 120 Life is a blend of great tasting superfruit juices that have been shown to actually help lower your blood pressure. I talk about it all the time. Remember, I tell you, I'm not going to have anything on this program, any sponsor. I'm not going to have any advertisement that I don't either personally try myself or that I don't use or believe in. Okay. 120 Life, again, is a great blend of great tasting superfruit juices that have been shown to actually help lower your blood pressure. But it's not just about blood pressure. It's also beneficial for health conditions like diabetes. 120 Life is trusted by healthcare professionals with hundreds of doctors recommending it to help manage blood pressure naturally. My hair is like growing faster. My nails are growing faster. All of those things. It's got to be this. I don't know. I'm not doing anything else that's different. I'm just saying it provides visible, measurable changes in blood pressure. You can use a simple monitor at home to track progress. So for a limited time, everyone, try 120 Life and save 20% off. Just use the code DON at checkout at 120life.com. 120 Life offers a risk-free trial with a full refund if you don't see lower numbers in 2 weeks. So go to 120life.com and use the code word DON to save 20%. There's nothing to lose except your high blood pressure numbers. So go to 120life.com and use the code DON to save 20% off. Remember, you must use the code DON to get this special offer. This is serious. This is real life we're talking about. 120 Life can help you. Also, I want to tell you about something that is very personal to me, near and dear to me, because I don't know if you guys know about some of the work that I did in Africa, that I've gone there, that I did a documentary on children or just on HIV in Africa. And I met many women. I helped to build houses there for the folks who are the needy. And I saw many women who did not have agency. And after what was happening here in this country as it relates to women's rights, I think it's important, this next thing I'm going to tell you about. So support today comes from MSI United States. Women are facing major crisis. Cuts to foreign aid for modern safe contraception are putting lives in jeopardy. MSI Reproductive Choices is an international charity that has been providing vital care to women in 36 countries for years. MSIUnitedStates.org has launched the Choice Emergency Fund to replace USAID funding cuts. Okay? So millions of women are being stripped of basic health care and left to face life or death consequences alone. This year, nearly 90,000 women will die from pregnancies they never planned because they lack choices. MSI opens doors. It breaks down stigma and makes sure that every woman can decide her own future. So at MSIUnitedStates.org, for just $6.50, everyone, just $6.50, you can give a woman the power to choose her future. 1 full year of contraception, 1 year of hope. So give what you can, give because you care, give because every woman deserves a choice. Rush your tax-deductible donation today to MSIUnitedStates.org or text LEMON to 511-511. Text fees do apply. Okay, so that's very important to me. Also, it's important the work that we do on this program. So Clay Cane, bring you back now. This is the women of The View discussing it. Watch.
Why is this important to know now?
Yeah. Well, that's what some people want to know.
It just seems to me, you know, we got a lot of stuff to be concerned about at the moment.
So I list them? So I list them?
Yes,
okay.
please.
Here's the Trump's atrocities. I'm going to list them for you. Cutting Medicaid.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we're concerned about now.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Cutting Medicaid, slashing funding for cancer research.
Yep.
Rising prices because of tariffs. Dismantling USAID, which helps children and people who are poor around the world.
Yeah.
Fears of recession, destroying due process, ending birthright citizenship, dismantling the Department of Education, rolling back regulations on air and water quality, destroying our relationships with allies like Canada and the UK, and targeting his political opponents.
Preach.
And that, not only that, but he also said that Joe Biden has stage 9 cancer. Oh, really? Where did he come up with that? When is Jake Tapper going to write a book about the cognitive decline of the person who is in charge right now?
I would like to respond to that because a factor in why we're in the situation we're in is because Joe Biden decided to stay in the race. And I want to speak to Jake Tapper and Alec Thompson specifically because I'm friends with both of them, colleagues with both of them. And I don't think there is anyone who could credibly accuse, especially Jake Tapper, of not critically covering Donald Trump for the last 10 years. He's one of the top journalists in this country. He moderated that debate, by the way. This is where I take issue with some folks on the left. We stand with journalists. We stand with the free press when they're going after their opponents, like Donald Trump. But when they critically cover Democrats as, oh, no, they're lying. It's fairy dust. It's not true.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. When she says Jake Tapper is actually criticizing Jake Tapper for not critically covering Joe Biden or, so, I mean, there we go. Or Donald Trump.
Well, Alyssa Farah Griffin, the language critically covering Democrats, I don't think what Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson are doing now is critically covering. I don't think that's happening. So it just feels like bullshit to me. It feels unnecessary. It feels like you're hawking a book. But to quote Cher, today is her birthday, tramps and thieves. That's all I can say.
You forgot the gypsies.
I don't want to say gypsies, though.
Because you don't like the gypsy word.
But that's a good song, right? That's a good song.
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
Today's her birthday, 79 years old. They're tramps and thieves. Shake them off, Joe Biden.
So what are you saying? You're saying that they are hawking a book and that they're whoring themselves out?
It doesn't feel like you're critically covering or anything. This isn't highbrow journalism. From what I saw in the reports, the majority of it is anonymous sources. And Joe Biden's granddaughter, spoke out and slammed the book. And I know that's family. I get that, but it just feels deeply unnecessary. And I'm not saying that Jake Tapper across the board is terrible. He has done some good work, absolutely. But when you get it wrong, you get it wrong. You call it out. And even he is apologizing. Now, he went on Megyn Kelly. I would love to see him sit down with his former colleague, Don Lemon. I would like to see that. That would be interesting. That would be fascinating. I mean, I'd love to see him sit down with, I don't know, maybe Jim Acosta. I don't know. You went with Megyn Kelly. You can sit down with your former colleague. That would be fascinating to see. But yeah.
Should I text him and say, Jake, baby, you want to come on and talk to me?
Come on over. Come on over. Do you believe in life after love? Do you believe in life after bad reporting?
But for, Jake, would you do it again if you could turn back time? Should I text him and say, Jake, you up?
You up? You sleep?
You up? This is how I kind of feel about this. This is, I love to play the folks on the social media because they actually give us a good feel of how the people feel. This is a TikToker, and I think he's right.
Shocking thing about Joe Biden's mental decline is that he never thought electric vehicles. The most shocking thing about Joe Biden's mental decline is that he never thought electric vehicles were killing sharks. The most amazing thing about Joe Biden's mental decline is he never thought Mattel was a country. The most shocking thing about Joe Biden's mental decline is he never claimed that they were eating the cats and dogs. The most damning thing about Joe Biden's mental decline is he never thought he was friends with Hannibal Lecter.
I'm just saying, and Joy is right. Where's the Trump book on his mental decline?
I have a prediction. I think that Jake Tapper is going to be the sour lemon of the week. I could be wrong, but that's my prediction.
Wow. You think so?
I think so. I could be wrong, but that's my prediction. I think he's going to be the sour lemon.
Clay, what do you think? I think Jake survives this, but do you think, I don't know, is this somehow a stain on his record? I have no idea. I'm just asking. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a stain on his record, but I do think
what I mean. Is this going to go down to this is going to go on your permanent record, whatever that was.
It's going to be a big book. It's going to make a lot of money. What I do think it's doing, and I don't know if this is his intention or not, it is going to make him a bit of a darling in the MAGA world. And I don't know Jake Tapper, never met, I've never been on TV with him before when I've been on CNN, but it's going to make him a darling. And so, maybe he's thinking of the long game. And if that's the case, that's unfortunate. And I don't really love all the anonymous reporting. It just feels irresponsible. And so I don't know if it'll have an impact. I mean, I know other people look at him differently, but maybe that's just not where he's going right now. And let's be honest, we're seeing a lot of people associated with legacy media bowing down. What did Omarosa say? All of his detractors will bow down. Remember that line from Miss Omarosa?
I do remember that.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen.
Including her at the end.
And shown up. I've always said I feel like Omarosa and Candace Owens and Stacey Dash should start a group called the Griftettes. Just go on. And remember that song, Float On? Float On? Just call it Grift On.
The grift on. I think something in the Supreme, the grift teens.
The grift
something like that. Now, but the thing is, who's Diana Ross?
Oh God.
I think it's Candace
Ross. And who's Mary Wilson? And that's a good one. It has to be Miss Omarosa. She be Miss Ross. Let's not even put Miss Ross into what am I doing? Stop, it's too much. Oh my God, what did I just say? What happened? How did we get here?
Oh my gosh.
Nobody's supposed to be here.
The madness is astounding. Andy, can you get me Simone from yesterday too? Because I think Simone brings up a very good point. Simone Sanders. It's in our stuff from yesterday. I just want to make sure that I have everything about this big, beautiful bill, but I also want to let me know when you have Simone, because I think Simone brings up a very good point. I don't know. You think it's going to be a big seller? Because I think liberals are going to. Liberals are going to.
That MAGA check is a good check. I mean,
the conservatives, the MAGA. Yeah.
I'm a New York Times bestseller, but I couldn't get higher at some of those other folks who were above me. I mean, that's a good check. So yeah, he's certainly going to, get that, and then they'll have a sequel or whatever the case may be. I don't know. We'll certainly get that.
Look at the screen.
Light Skin Brothers Act. Why is light skin in it? Somebody call Albie Shore. I was younger. The girls would say I look like Albie Shore when I was a kid. That's what they would tell me.
You still look like Albie Shore. Don't even.
Do I really?
Yeah, you still look.
Night and day.
I'll be sure. Yes, you do.
Night and day on our own, you know.
Light-skinned brothers
Actually,
unite.
Christine, you got it wrong. It's light-skinned. So you don't have it right. You don't have it right. So that comment don't count. It's light-skinned.
I want to hear from a beautiful brown-skinned sister right now. Here we go.
Did the book say that Joe Biden has dementia? No, not to my knowledge. Did the book say that Joe Biden has dementia? No, not to my knowledge. Did the book say that a doctor has diagnosed the former president with Parkinson's? No, I think the book just says Joe Biden was old.
It did, but it also said that his aides limited his, how much time he would work during the day, and that it brought up, some concerns potentially for national security that he wouldn't have been available at 2 a.m.
I think it's crazy because Donald Trump is the president, and he left his Middle Eastern trip, and he's tweeting or posting on his social media site about Taylor Swift. It is laughable, frankly, to me, the idea that this is a concern. It's not a concern for Democratic voters, I can tell you, because I've talked to them. I'm talking to DNC members and Democratic voters for the last couple of days, actually. I do think, though, if this book tells us anything, it is this. Was the president in cognitive decline? I vehemently don't believe that as someone who saw the president a week before inauguration and someone that spoke to him recently. But was Joe Biden in denial about the political realities of the situation? I think so. And we have to ask ourselves, if that's the case, why? Well, I have to look to the people that were advising the president. What were they telling him? What weren't they telling him? But if we explore that, I think then some people who have yet to show up and take responsibility, then there are questions for them. It's easier, though, to just say, oh, well, the president was old.
Well, I'll ask you what I asked the congressman earlier in the broadcast. What should be the main message for Democrats heading into 2026, 2028? Is it economy? Is it Trump's cuts? What would you advise any potential candidates?
I think it is. I would advise candidates to, particularly because midterm elections are about your district, right? This is not a national election, as though I think some Democrats would like to make it. I think that you need to know the issues of your district. And if you talk to voters in the key districts across the country, it is affordability, that is housing, that is the economy. And you can tie in the chaos that the president has created with his tariffs to that issue and not just talk about what Donald Trump is doing, but talk about what you will do if elected.
All right.
There you go. Yeah, Simone is so good. She got better over the years. She was great when she was on CNN with me. And she's gotten really better over the years. She's like a fine wine. She gets better. Here's the thing, though, that the reason that why I say that, Black voters love Joe Biden. Absolutely. Black voters are the backbone of the Democratic Party,
especially older Black voters.
Especially older Black voters. And so this is an excerpt. Is this from that book, Peter?
No, I could be mistaken. I believe it may be from a Sarah Longwell excerpt from a focus group, but I can fact check that.
So, Clay, read this. I remember vividly a focus group we did with Black voters in South Carolina in late June, early July in 2019. Biden was being attacked by the left elite of the party for saying that he worked with segregationists in his time in the Senate. Despite what the left was saying, Black primary voters in South Carolina felt that Biden's work with segregationists was another good reason to support him for president. As participants of this focus group pointed out, if you were Black and lived in the South under Jim Crow, you too had to work with segregationists. While the Democrats' ecosystem was criticizing Biden for inaction, actual voters in key places were praising him for the exact same thing. This is how when people like the elite of the party and people aren't reading the room, like I believe the folks in these books and all of that, they're not reading the room. The actual voters don't give a shit about this, especially the folks who, without them in the party, Democrats could not win.
No, absolutely. And, let me say this. First of all, I just want to give all my love and light to President Joe Biden and his family. I really believe that Joe Biden is going to go down in history as a president who was really treated terribly by his party, by the Democratic establishment, and by the media and the contagion of false equivalencies. I will stand by this. I think what happened with Joe Biden, the way they threw him off the ticket, I know he said he stepped down. I think it was egregious. I think it was impossible for Kamala Harris to come back from that. I think it really hurt us as a party. The 3-4 week pile on Joe Biden because of one bad debate when he was up against a convicted felon who tried to overthrow democracy. And that really harmed us, along with sexism and racism and so many other things. But never in my lifetime have I seen a president treated in that manner. Democrats can be spineless. They can be soulless. And that kind of lack of unity really hurts us. And I was on the radio. I'm on the radio 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, talking to Black voters. I rarely got a phone call from people saying, kick Joe Biden off the ticket.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what would have happened in the long run. We don't know. But the way that it was handled, it was so hard to come back from that. And now, nearly a year later, since that horrible debate in June of 2024, we're still talking about Joe Biden. He did his job. He cleaned up the economy. He gave us an infrastructure bill. He slashed the unemployment rate. I know he didn't beat Trump. I know he didn't end Trumpism, but he did a damn good job. And it's just shameful. It really is shameful. I'm not saying he was perfect. There were plenty of mistakes. But in comparison to our other presidents, he did a damn good job. And the way he's been treated, I think it's going to be, history is going to show in retrospect that it was wrong.
There are those who will say history will show that he was selfish and should have gotten out sooner because he thought about himself. What do you say to that?
You know, people say that Joe Biden said he was going to be a one-term president. He didn't say that. He said he would be a transitional
president. Yeah,
transitional as it relates to COVID. I always thought he would be 2 terms. Now I'm going to say this, and some folks may not like this. Here's what I always thought was going to happen. One, I think if he would have not run for re-election, history tells us when the incumbent steps down, the opposing party always wins. Whether it is Truman, whether it's Johnson, that rarely works. But I thought that Joe Biden was going to try to squeak out a win for a second term and pass the baton within the first year to Vice President Kamala Harris. And that's what they were really afraid of. And I think that Joe Biden I think he was unsure if Kamala Harris could win because of the way this country is. So folks may call it selfish, but I always felt that. I always felt that that was the end game. And if that would have happened, now again, we don't know if he would have won. I'm not saying that was etched in stone, but I think it was to pass the baton over. And in 2024, I don't think Gavin Newsom could have won. Damn sure not him. I don't think anybody else could have won. And you know how Democrats are during a primary? That would have been a disaster too. So I don't think he was selfish. I think it was a long game. But when that debate happens, you would have thought he was the convicted felon. And that's the problem with Democrats. If you believe in polls, the polling didn't change that much. I don't really believe in polls like that. But the polling didn't change that much after the debate. Nonetheless,
it did not. Isn't that amazing? It did not change much after the debate. It's
but James Carville and Rob Reiner and all these people said, get out, get out, get out. Was James Carville right? Oh, yeah, we got to play possum now. Okay.
Yeah. And this is who we got. We got Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem, who is the head of Homeland Security and does not know what habeas corpus is. Here it is.
So, Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to.
Let me stop you, ma'am. Habeas corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
President Lincoln used it.
Excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people. If not for that protection, the government could simply arrest people, including American citizens, and hold them indefinitely for no reason. Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea. As a senator from the live free or die state, this matters a lot to me and my constituents and to all.
That's their queen.
Wow.
She's your queen. That's
and
it.
Here's what I have to say. You may not know the textbook definition of habeas corpus, but people usually it means due process, that you have to do whatever, right? So someone can relate it. When you hear habeas corpus, you know that means, well, you have to have your shit together if you are detaining someone, basically, right? It's a writ. And for her, so the average American may not know the exact definition, but if you're going to be the head of homeland security, and the person you're working for is either trying to get rid of or suspend habeas corpus, then one should know exactly what it is. Don't you think, Clay?
Absolutely. And to bring up Abraham Lincoln, I mean, that was during this time called, maybe her and Nikki Haley don't really know, the Civil War. It was a war. W-A-R. I don't know.
What is it good for?
Yeah, what is it really good for?
Absolutely
her and Nikki Haley.
Nothing.
Yeah, Nikki Haley doesn't know, what the Civil War was about. Then there was this other time during World War II, and that resulted in Japanese internment camps. I mean, my God, but this is their queen, and a couple of Democrats voted to confirm her. I mean, this is, but you know what? Somebody said that she's the sour lemon of the week. I know I'm fast forwarding to Friday, but no, because we know who she is.
Right.
This ain't a shocker. This is who she is.
Habeas corpus has been suspended a couple times in history, and let's see what Kristi Noem knows about that.
Go back to something that was raised earlier about habeas corpus. Can you confirm to us that you understand that any suspension of habeas corpus requires an act of Congress?
President Lincoln executed habeas corpus in the past with retroactive action by Congress. I believe that any president that was able to do that in the past, it should be afforded to our current day president. This president has never said he's going to do this. He's never communicated to me or his administration that they're going to consider suspending habeas corpus, but I do think the Constitution allows them the right to consider it.
When we saw what happened with, how many times has habeas corpus been suspended in our country?
Once that I know of.
4 times.
For certain. I'm not certain if those were...
The instance that you were referring to was one where the courts subsequently showed that Congress is the one that has the ability. Do you know what section of the Constitution the suspension clause of habeas corpus is in?
I do not. Nope.
Do you know which article it is in?
No, I do not, sir.
Okay, well, it is in Article 1. Do you know which branch of government Article 1 outlines the tasks and the responsibilities for?
Yes.
Which one?
Congress.
Yes.
That's my senator. But you did vote to confirm her, Senator Kim, but it's okay. I already interviewed you about that. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, those are the people who are in charge.
Yeah. And it caused, not to get all history geeky, but it caused major controversy when Abraham Lincoln did that. I mean, again, it was, they passed a law backing it up, but it was a big deal. They said that Abraham Lincoln broke the Constitution and things. I mean, it was a huge controversy. But again, it was around this thing called war. It was about Confederate soldiers who were rising up against the country. But maybe she's maybe she's part of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. I don't know. Maybe that's what she's part of.
What?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's what. Maybe she likes those people. I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing. I don't know.
Okay. One more and another thing. One more thing for you. I would just want to get your take on this. This is an interview with Elon Musk.
Going to continue to spend at that kind of level on future elections?
I want people to hear the
Are you
question.
going to continue to spend at that kind of level on future elections?
I think. In terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future.
And why is that?
I think I've done enough.
Is it because of blowback?
Well, if I see a reason to do political spending in the future, I will do it.
It's not that much different than what he told me a year ago in my interview, that he hadn't planned on donating to anybody, but what do you think?
He looks kind of like DiCaprio in The Revenant in that image. Remember that movie? He looks kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio on the are you running from a bear? I don't know. Listen, he got his welfare check from the government. He got all his billions of dollars of contracts. He got what he needed. So he doesn't need to anymore. He made his money. And, he also has our data. So this is where we are. I mean, yeah, he doesn't need to do it anymore. He got what he wanted. He's moved on. And he made a whole bunch of money, has a whole bunch of contracts. He got, the Starlink, all the foolishness. So he got he got his welfare. What do they say? Welfare queen? He's the welfare emperor. He got it. All these corporations, these rich folks get tons of breaks from the government. So he got everything he needed. And it's shameful. It's disturbing. But his impact might be felt for a long time, unfortunately.
Well, Clay Kane, thanks for cheering us up.
Only for you, Don. Like Prince.
Thanks for cheering us up. Not. Clay, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Lemonheads.
Thank you. Are you going to be voting on the Sour Lemon of the Week?
I've got Jake Tapper in advance. I'm going to do a provisional ballot. No, I'm going to do a mail-in ballot. Check my citizenship first, though.
Do you have your proof of citizenship?
I do.
Yeah. And it's got to be, what's the new one again? The something card. I forget what it's called.
The Real ID?
Real ID. And I have enhanced, so mine works as a Real ID.
Oh, I don't have it, and I can't stand flying, so I'm just going to try to avoid the skies and, But election coming up in New Jersey, y'all. I believe it's June 11th, the primary. Make sure y'all show up and show out. I believe it's June 11th. Show out. All right. Appreciate you.
Get out of here. By the way, you didn't get my war thing. War.
What is it? Yes, I sang along.
What is it good for?
Absolutely
nothing.
Say it again. I get the references now.
Bye, Clay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hello. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I am really happy that you joined us today. I'm so glad the viewership is ticking back up after I took some time off. It usually goes down in the summer, but it's going up, and we're so happy that you're here. Please, I haven't asked you guys, but make sure you hit the thumbs up. Have you hit the thumbs up? We have not been getting nearly enough likes and subscribe, so make sure that you do it and also become a member. So Kate Peabody, thank you for becoming a member. Thanks for the space, Don. Kate, we appreciate it. Welcome to the Elimination. Diane Good, welcome to the Elimination as well. Lakeisha Barnes, welcome to the Elimination. Welcome, Floyd Overstreet. Welcome to all of our new members. Diane Good, thank you for your very generous support of independent media. We really appreciate it. That's how we stay on in these streaming streets, with your very generous support. There is a fun poll, I am told by the producers, that is currently in the chat, and it says, pick the best nickname for the secretary. Puppy Killer Christie, Christie Karkrashian, Christie Gnomeskull, Ice Barbie. I like Christie Gnomeskull. That's what I like. Oh, and you guys know that. I came up with that one, Christie Gnomeskull. And I think that's what's happening.
You did. Can confirm. That was a Don original.
That was a Don original. Also, Karkrashian was another Don original, right?
Yes.
Puppy Killer Christie, that was yours. Ice Barbie, that was you guys. But I had Christie Karkrashian and Christie Gnomeskull. Anyways, you guys are the best. I appreciate you joining. So follow us on all of our sites. Thank you for watching us on YouTube, where our big show is. Thank you for watching us on TikTok. Make sure you smash the screen. Thank you for watching us on Instagram and for watching us on YouTube, on Facebook as well. The interesting thing is that I was walking in the city today. I was at the stock market, and folks are like, "Oh, there's my TikTok guy." I'm like, "Wow. Crazy. There's a YouTube guy. I'm a Lemonhead." I'm like, this is great. Love it. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time for our Hot Topics program. We're live twice a day. It's a lot of work. We're doing this for you. So become a member, okay? And then let's see. Miranda 77 has become a member. I'm sorry, but Alyssa is a joke, Miranda says. Thank you, Miranda, for becoming a member. And welcome to all of our new members. And thank you for your support. Okay, so in the meantime, until 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, turn the TV off. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support.